Good morning, it's Hannah here with Rundle's Urban Farm. It's been a couple of weeks since I was able to do a garden tour, and a lot has been happening in the garden. We've got tomatoes ripening every day, lots of zucchini, lots of winter squash, well on their way to harvest, and flowers and peppers are coming along nicely as well. So I'm going to take you on a little tour and show you what we've got going, and also give you an update on our tomato trellising methods and which one we are currently liking better. So enjoy! Alright, so as you can see, things are getting a little bit on the wild side, very lush and overgrown. Not overgrown, but well grown, I guess. So we've got our tomatoes with the string tying trellis here, and over here are tomatoes on the cattle panel trellis. At the beginning of the year, I really liked how easy this trellis was to just wind the tomatoes up the string, and not a lot of maintenance for these, but as you can see, my pathway is kind of overtaken by the branches from these tomatoes just falling out. And this tomato here, this string that's tied here, we had a rainstorm the other night and this one blew down and broke. And so I had to re-string it. I was able to get it up okay, but I think I should have used a sturdier string instead of this twine because it breaks down a little easier. You can see lots and lots of tomatoes on the vine. These blue beauties are really pretty before they get ripe, but they take forever to get ripe. We've got some Hungarian hearts here, which are just a super fun shaped tomato. More black creme and some Amish paste and the San Marzanos. And then here we've got mostly this side is our trial varieties. Now the cattle panel, if you can see, most of the vines are well contained by the panel and able to be tied to it, and they're well exceeding the top of it and are well supported and not obviously going to collapse. So at the end of the season, this has proved to be the better system. It's also really easy to come in here and just prune like crazy because pruning helps the tomatoes start to turn ripe. These two varieties, German pink here with the potato leaves and church here with the regular leaves, have been taking forever to ripen, and they're finally have a couple that are starting to show signs of color, so that's great. Then we have our paste varieties here, all of which have a few that are turning ripe. And then of course we have our winter squash here on the trellis. We've got some spaghetti squash hanging out up here. These are a lot of our trial varieties. And there's a Hubbard in there, pumpkins, another Hubbard, kabocha, and these acorns seem to be a little later season, but they are producing like crazy right now as well. Then over here we've got our King of the North bell peppers, which are still a long way from ripening, but quite nicely sized. Basil, which I need to turn into something. Jalapenos, which I might make some salsa today with those. More jalapenos over here. This one's starting to turn color. But they're supposed to be orange jalapenos, so I'm not sure why that one seems to be turning a dark red. And then I believe these are turning out to be banana peppers, although I'm not sure why they're showing that ribbing, because typically banana peppers are more smooth like that. So I'm not sure. Zucchini, it has been a rough year for zucchini. The bugs have really gotten a hold of them, and also the powdery mildew. And here we've got some cantaloupe vines that are starting to do stuff. We've got one little cantaloupe that might make it to harvest. We've got a nice big pumpkin here, which is the only plant this entire vine has produced, or the only fruit this entire vine's produced. And over here we've got beans, our delicata squash. This area is a real jungle. We've got some watermelon. And up here, I just saw this morning. It's really beautiful. This is the black-eyed Susan vine. Hopefully we'll get lots more blossoms here. Come on there. Nasturtiums. These are the fall crop of beans that I planted. And I've also got some spinach coming up here that I also planted for a fall crop. So we will see how that turns out. And of course the wild Cosmo and sunflower jungle. Here's a little update on our compost bin squash. It is probably closer to 30 feet long now. Still the same number of squash on it though. All right, and then over here we've got our little watermelon in here, and it might actually produce some baby watermelons. There's a little tiny one you can kind of see there. This only produces 2 to 3 pound. Maybe it's even less than that. The watermelon are the size of a beefsteak tomato, I think, off of that plant, so it could have time to get there. Flowers. This is some arugula coming up that I planted for the fall. Got a nice poblano pepper there that seems to be the only one we're gonna be getting. Let's see, we've got our eggplant here, and I'm wondering, I saw some the other day that were starting to become little eggplants. Maybe that there. I thought there was a bigger one. Ah yes, right there. So hopefully those will get big soon and start producing. We've got some carrots in here. And I don't recall, I think these are Danvers half long. They're just orange carrots. Then we've got some more peppers. We've got a really beautiful Ruia bell pepper here. And we've got more carrots over here. And these are beauties. They are purple carrots. I need a shovel to pull those out. But they're looking really nice. We harvested a couple the other day. And then we've got our squash, our containers, and our trellis. Here we've got our container squash, bagged squash that is. This is a real nice kabocha here on the fence. Some male flowers. We've got, I think there was a female flower somewhere in there. But we do have a couple of kabochas here on the fence as well. You can see those. So those are producing nicely. Still no butternut squash on this vine. Been pulling off all the male flowers to see if that will help So far it's all for naught. Take a quick look at the front raised beds here. Our cucumbers and tomatoes have gone quite wild. We've got this corbachi pepper, which is just super fun looking here and very prolific. We've got habanadas, which have not started to produce anything yet. And this is a lesa pepper. Here in front, you can see some of the carrots that we planted for our fall crop are starting to come up. Sure took them long enough. And some habanadas getting ready to produce. And a squash bed here has gone quite wild. Vines coming out everywhere. So that's nice. So thank you for joining me on what will be our week 14 garden tour. Hope you enjoyed seeing what we've got growing and hope that your gardens are doing magnificently as well. I've got to go head to the kitchen and get some canning done, so I will see you later.